All right, we're live, everybody. Give us a minute. This is the first time High Performance Trader is going live, right? This is something I really want to kick off because, you know, it's super important to remind ourselves, right? Like, what's our process? What's our system, right? What to look forward to before the week begins. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all stare at the charts, but it's so important to make sure that we're actually doing this in a way, right, that's beneficial, right? So we're going to give it a little minute. We're going to give it some time to let, you know, I'm going to make sure I got all this going the proper way here. And then we're going to break into bullish and bearish scenarios, right? So, you know, this is the thing, right? Every single Sunday, I approach the market in the same exact way, right? And honestly, like, I approach the market from a top-down approach, right? So I'm sure you guys heard this a lot in the videos, right? But it's like, I have to be able to start at the higher time frame. What up, Todd? What up, bro? Let's see how this goes, man. I think this is going to be good. We're going to do some chart breakdown, man. Yeah, so I really like to approach the market from a top-down approach, right? This means I start out at larger time frames, right? We're going to whip out that daily, right? So over here we have QQQ. I've been trading Qs a lot lately, right? And basically, I approach this every single day in the same way. Larger time frame analysis and kind of get an idea of what to expect, right? So let me get rid of some of this. Right, I'm gonna leave one of them. And then we're gonna do a quick breakdown. See, when we're trying to view what's gonna happen, right? So it's so important to never become biased, right? Never get stuck in one way of thinking, right? I always want to approach the market in a way where I'm looking at it from a 50-50 perspective, right? That means if buyers control this level at 47796, right, what can happen, right? So this is where I identify what I call a key level, right? This is my bullish above, bearish below, right? So I like to whip out my chart. I like to draw a little zone there, right? And this is like my, you know, make or break level, right? So now if buyers come into 47796, right? If price comes back, you can see on Friday we tagged it, right? So if price comes back to this level, right, it's going to be very important to see who controls it, right? If buyers control this level, we could expect a move back up to end of day. We could expect a move back up to previous day high, and then we could expect another move back up to 48638. Right now, notice here, anytime I'm pulling upside targets, right? When I'm pulling upside targets, I'm pulling them from the daily time frame, right? Super important to pull from the daily time frame, right? Because these are the levels that hold the vault, right? They hold all the liquidity. These are the levels that the moves are going to happen at, right? So if sellers take that level, let's now break into a lower time frame, right? So now that we've identified on the daily time frame here our key levels, right? 47796 is critical. This level is so important, right? If buyers hold this level, those are my upside targets, right? I'm going to be targeting 48271, right? And notice here, I'm pulling from the daily time frame critical levels, right? You guys already know the pint numbers, right? The open, the low, the high, the close. Those are the levels I'm pulling from, right? Okay, cool. Now, if sellers take this level, if price comes back down into 47796 and sellers show up, right? Now, let's now whip out the 1 hour, right? Notice here too, you're going to start to see, look at how price is already reacting off this key level, right? This is where the 50 EMA is going to come in, right? This is where the EMA cloud is going to come in. If anyone wants the EMA cloud, drop a message in the chat, whatever. We'll get it for you. Join the Discord, right? Discord has the indicator on there. But more importantly, what does it tell us, right? The EMA cloud tells us a short-term, it gives us like a short-term bias or understanding, right? But more, I would rather look at it as a tool in how price reacts to that level or that cloud, right? That's what I want to get familiar with, right? But anyways, we're watching this 478 level. It's very important. But if sellers push price down below it, we could definitely expect a move down to 47471 and below, right? So basically, let's talk about it. You have a simple break and retest, right? You have resistance, you have supply, buyers push through it. Now price comes down for that retest, right? So now, if and when we come back down to 478, however price reacts to this level is very important, right? But those are my downside targets. All right, let's whip over to SPY. All right, so SPY, let's break down the weekend analysis on SPY, right? So first things first, daily time frame. Look at how we broke above previous all-time high, right? All-time high was 56516, right? Now, once again, I like to treat the reason why I always start on larger time frames is because candlestick analysis applies to any time frame. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if it's a 2 minute, doesn't matter if it's a 1 minute, doesn't matter if it's a 1 hour or a daily chart. The same principles apply, right? And it's like a fundamental, right? However those candlesticks work is going to work on all time frames, and that's going to help you make better decisions in the market, right? So let's break it down. We have all-time high right here, this previous level. We broke past it, right? We had sellers here, sellers here, sellers here, right? Now price rifles past 56516. So now it's a very clear level, right? Because whoever holds this level is going to hold the market conditions, right? And like I say that a lot, right? Like whoever holds this level is going to hold the market conditions, right? Like and basically, what does that mean, right? Like the only way to really break it down is to start from the beginning, right? We have to become extremely clear on what our job, what our goal is as day traders, right? So if we trade daily in between the hours of market open and market close, right? If that's our goal, to make money during those time periods, right? We have to understand how to identify opportunity, right? So we cannot hold or move or manipulate price. We don't have that influence over the market, right? The banks do. So it's up to us to identify what it is the banks are doing, right? Now we do this through these critical levels. We do this through the break and retest. We do this with the moving averages, right? We identify trends and we act on it, right? So 56516 is a very important level. Notice we tagged it perfectly on Friday, right? We caught a beautiful trade on Friday. All right, let's do a quick little recap of this trade here. I was very proud. I was really happy with this trade, and there's a couple reasons why. Right, number one is open print. Right, we were allowing price to bounce here off open print. We were also allowing price to bounce off end of day and previous day low. This is what we call the sweet spot, because anytime you have all these levels together, right? Check this out. We have previous day low right here. Boom, perfect. Money shot, right? So we have PDL, right? So now we're letting price open up above previous day low. We rip above previous day low, open prints established. Now watch how price reacts to that 50 EMA, right? There's a couple things I'm looking at right here. We have a red cloud, right? Okay, we're below the 50 EMA, right? Okay, so now as price comes into that 50 EMA and sellers defend it, that now paints the picture. Now, once again, we're using 56516 as a bearish target, right? Because these levels hold massive amounts of volume, right? We have to watch them, right? We had another target in between it. It was this guy right here, right? So this was our first target, 56663, and then we had the next target of previous all-time high, right? So as price opened up, we ripped right into that 50, right? Now, this is where patience is super important, right? And it's weird. A lot of people ask me about patience. A lot of people ask me about discipline, right? And I give them the same exact answer. See, you don't need to become a more, quote, disciplined trader. You just need to become more aware of what works, right? You need to become more aware of what your strategy is. And then you need to put in the reps, right? And when I mean put in the reps, I mean logging the trades. I mean diving into old back testing, right? Forward testing. Going, okay, how do I grade myself, right? Did I execute it properly, right? When you start to really dive that deep into your trade journal, you'll start to realize what works and what doesn't. And then once you become aware of that, it's so much easier to be patient, right? See, I've logged so many of these trades, and same with everyone on my team, right? On the Discord. And I'll just show you guys really briefly. If I whip open the Discord right here, you're going to see we literally log every single setup that applies to our edge, right? So this trade was off open print. So right here, you'll see, right? This was the trade that we took, right? Let me zoom all the way down here, right here, boom, right? So we log these over and over and over and over again. We burn them into our mind, right? And this is how, right? Look at this gap fill, beautiful gap fill play right here off open print. We literally have over 2.5 years of trading data on the Discord, right? And this is the thing. When it comes to putting in the reps, right? Because this is how it's going to work. That 9:30 bell is going to go off, and you're going to get that tunnel vision. If you do not know what to look for, you're going to get that tunnel vision, right? And when that tunnel vision comes in, you start to get irrational, right? You start to get impulsive, right? You start to make those bad trading errors, right? Out of fear, right? Out of unfamiliarity, right? Like the pressure comes on. Right. But once you become an experienced trader and you log your trades, you put the reps in, you do the back testing, right? Now you know what to look for, right? Just because I got 1 2-minute candle above previous day low doesn't mean I'm longing this. Instead, I'm going to be like, okay, what's the 1 hour time frame telling me, right? And in this scenario, we were starting to close below some very important moving averages, right? Check it out. The cloud was red. Right? This cloud was wiping, and this candle was wiping out the candle in front of it, right? Things were getting more bearish. So once we identified weak buying right here at open print, we took the market short on this candle right here and caught a really nice move down to target, right? And what was really cool about this, and we said this in the live, right? You guys could watch it. I was like, if 56663 does not hold, right? Previous all-time high is going to act as a magnet, right? And I just want to show you, look at how price ended up reacting here to the 50 EMA. Comes back up, tags open print. Now we're getting market structure, right? Now the bearish scenario is in full effect, right? And this was another beautiful GBI right here and right here, right? And that's what the GBI's done for me lately, right? The GBI has helped me become so systematic. Right, my boy Todd really fleshed this out for me. He really broke it down in a way that really, like, it blew me away because, for the longest time, you could be trading off the right levels, right? You could be using the right tools, right? But if you don't have a very simple and clear, repeatable way to get in and out of the market, you're going to struggle, right? Especially in these market conditions. I mean, like, how volatile these markets are. I mean, these candles are literally, I mean, look at this candle right here is, 60 cents, right? My stop loss is 60 cents. So I literally on average have about 1 candle that I'm allowed to risk, right? So that's what the GBI has really done for me, right? It's been super effective. And what's really cool is when you get these GBIs like this one right here, green bar that's ignored. What's even cooler is when you end up getting a red bar that's ignored in the same exact level, right? This is something that I just broke down in my new YouTube video, right? How to really spot a reversal, right? And it's crazy because you could use a GBI or an RBI to spot a continuation, right? But you could also use it to spot a reversal, right? And that's the thing, right? Like in this market, no matter what your edge or what your strategy is, you need a way that's going to allow you to manage risk, right? And that's why this RBI, this GBI has been so effective. I teach to all my clients, right? I take tons of time really helping them understand the importance of it and what it's actually telling you when you see it, right? So that was Friday. That was a really good trade right there. We ended up taking another trade on QQQ. That was, really, really good trade. But before we dive into that, I want to continue here on our weekend analysis here, because there's a couple things I'm seeing, right? So, okay, we have previous all-time high, right? So I'm going to pull it out on the 4-hour, right? Previous all-time high is I mean, look at this. It really, guys, it doesn't get more clear than this. And this is why I'm really thankful that I've spent as much time as I have viewing the market and market structure, right? Because market structure, what you'll start to realize, right, is the market speaks to us in certain ways, right? It communicates to us, it gives us opportunity, it gives us understanding in certain ways, right? And one of those ways is market structure. Look at this 4-hour time frame, right? This is the 4-hour time frame, right? We have this previous all-time high. Sellers respected it here, here. Looks like they stepped up here. And just like if this was a 2-minute chart, 1-minute chart, 15-second chart, or 1 month chart, it really doesn't matter the time frame. What matters is the principle, right? So we are getting what we call a break and retest, right? This is a simple chart pattern, right? And it symbolizes a lot of things, right? The break and retest, the reason why I love this quote chart pattern or strategy or whatever you want to call it so much is because it is a live example of human behavior, right? Like the market moves back and forth. You have buyers versus sellers constantly, right? So when you get the break and retest, you're literally getting a live example of who is in control of the market, and you get two possible scenarios, right? So let's break through them because it's going to be very effective going into Monday and next week. So we break past all-time high, right? Previous all-time high at 565.16. You could say this right here is now the new all-time high, right? So let's pan that out. This is all-time high. Okay. So now notice how price breaks 565.16, comes down, retest it. Now look at the wicks right there, right? That means sellers pushed price into it and buyers showed up, right? So buyers defended this really well on Friday. Okay, cool. So now we got ourselves what we call a sweet spot, right? So a sweet spot is an area with two critical levels, and whoever controls that level is going to hold the market conditions. Okay, cool. So now we have price coming into this. Now we're getting some buyers to show up. So now let's break into the 1 hour. Now I'm going to use that 1 hour 50, right? So just like if I was spotting a break and retest on a 2-minute time frame, I'm going to look at it the same exact way on the 1 hour. What am I going to use? My moving averages. What am I going to use? The market structure. What am I going to use? The EMA cloud. What am I going to use? The 9D EMA, right? I'm going to use all these tools to make my proper decision. Now, another level I'm going to be watching like a hawk is previous day low, right? This level right here. So this 568 level is very important. You're going to want to keep your eye on this. So I would look at it from 568 to 569.50. This little sweet spot right here. There's two things that can happen. Sellers are going to hold this level, right, and defend their positions, right? What's really cool is if you were to whip out the Fibonacci, I'm sure you would get a beautiful 50% retracement, right? So once again, Fibonacci is just another tool to what? Measure strength, measuring the strength of trend, measuring the possible pullback, right? Smart man told me one time, you never want to see a larger pullback than 50%, right? Because that's going to probably cause a reversal, right? So watching this level is very important. So the way I'm going to be looking at this is we're coming into 565.16, right? Depending on how we open up tomorrow, right? If it's above the 50 EMA, right? We could probably see a nice move up to 569.50 and then all-time high. Cool. But on the flip side of that coin, if sellers defend this level, we're going to get a push back below the 1 hour 50, back into 566.63, and then back into previous all-time high. And then whoever ends up controlling this level is going to hold a pretty good part of the week, right? If sellers take previous all-time high, we could definitely see a move back down to here, which is 560.81. Then we'll see another move down to 559.80. Then we'll see another move down to, at that point, we are headed to 55441. Perfect. So that's how I'm going to be trading SPY. I'm going to be watching 566 area like a hawk, right? Anything that comes into this level, you know, and this is another thing that we covered in the weekly recap this week when me and Darren were just talking about some really deep market philosophy stuff is know your environment, right? Like know the environment you're trading in, right? And what I mean by that is 565 is a very important level, right? It was all-time high for a long time. So don't be the first buyer when price shows up there. Don't be the first seller. You know what I mean? Let the market present you what you're looking for, right? Don't just hop in the first 2-minute candle you see. Don't just, you know, rush it. Let it do its thing. Let it paint its picture, right? That's a major topic that we talked about over the weekend, right? Is like this market has been so volatile, right? There's been so, I mean, literally the 5-minute candles, I mean, the 2-minute candles alone have been over 50, 60. I mean, look at this 2-minute candle. It's, you know, what is it right here? That's 88 cents, right? So I trade SPX 80% of the time. Like, so my entries need to be extremely on point, which is why we've gravitated towards using the GBI the way that we do, right? Or the RBI, right? It keeps that really tight risk. But going back to what we were talking about, be very careful anytime you're trading at these important levels, right? I mean, you know, just don't be the first buyer. Don't be the first seller. Start to become okay, right, with missing the trade. Right. And it's crazy. I don't want to say anything that's going to get, oh, you know, Josh told us, you know, don't take any trades. Right. Just that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is get yourself to the point where you're in complete acceptance, where if you miss a trade, it's fine. Right. Like it's so crazy. Out of all the people on my Discord, all my clients, you'd be amazed at how much better traders start to do when they take less than 5 trades a week. Dead serious, right? I literally have traders. I have one of my traders took 3 trades last week. He watched the charts every single day, but he took 3 trades last week. I mean, that is extreme discipline and acceptance, right? And when it comes to holding trades long, right? A lot of traders ask me about, oh, how do you start holding trades longer, right? Or how do you let your winners run? Right. Well, it takes a degree of acceptance, right? You have to get to the point where it's not as serious as you think. This isn't life or death. Right. And I know that can be very hard because it's a financial game, and finances are very emotional. Right. But going back to the week, 565.16 is going to be paramount. It's going to be a very important level. I mean, look at it on the daily time frame, right? I mean, it's a beautiful break and retest, right? We're retesting the EMA cloud. We're retesting the 9D EMA. Right? It's very, very important to see who holds this level. All right, SPX. Let's see what SPX is telling us. Let me get rid of all of this. And then after we do this, guys, we're going to break down a couple trades from last week, and then we'll wrap this up, right? I appreciate everyone showing up. This is a very good way for us to get together on a much larger platform and discuss the week, discuss goals that we have, and just things we're going through. Right, at any time, if anyone has anything they want to say, drop it right in the comment. All right. SPX is very similar to SPY. Right? So so the way I do this is I identify the old level, right? There's a all-time high. We have 5669. Okay, that's our quote critical level. Right? That's a very important level from the previous month. So now I'm going to tighten that level up and make sure it's hitting both the spots I want it to, right? Because this is the level I'm going to be making moves off of, right? And now SPX doesn't have any pre-market data. And so honestly, if you guys want to know, that SPX was the commodity I was trading when I started to become very aware and observant of the pit numbers, right? Because there's no pre-market data. Right. So I was starting to notice a lot of patterns with price when it started to come up to the previous day high, the previous day low, the end of day, and open print, right? While trading SPX, right? It was really cool. So just a little background context. That's what got me so focused and cognizant of the pit numbers, right, was trading SPX, right? Because it has constant gap fills, right? So it just makes it really clear without that pre-market data. And a lot of traders ask me, they're like, oh, do you use pre-market data? Do you not use pre-market data? Of course I use pre-market data, but I'm going to constantly watch the pin numbers, right? The pin numbers are going to give us those clear understanding of market structure at the levels that we should be watching. 5677 Todd is absolutely key, critical, absolutely. Let's break into it. So if I whip out that 1 hour, yeah, bro, you already know. Perfect. Absolutely. Hold on. 5, 6, 7, 7. Bam. Absolutely. That's the level. Another level is 5, 6, 8, 5. 73 is 50 EMA. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. See, watching this level too, 5, 6, 8, 6, right? Once again, that's just a level we're going to want to see hold, right? Now, if buyers can hold this little sweet spot right here, that's going to be bullish. But if that breaks, right, buyers can't hold 5, 6, 6, 6, it's a very high chance we're going to get this gap fill, right? Because look at this massive gap up here on SPX, right? If I whip out the 15-minute, it'll make it very clear. What's that? Thursday's gap up, mega gap up, right? Price rallies up. Look at the nice little bounce right here off previous day high too. This was beautiful. This was beautiful right here. Bam. All right, little bounce here off previous day high. So there is still a lot of liquidity down here. So that's why I'm going to be watching that level right there, 5, 6, 8, 6 for sure, right? Because I want to see buyers hold that, right? So let me get rid of this. Now I'm going to make it let me put a little line right here. Bam. And look how it was respected Friday, right? That's previous day low from Thursday. So now going into Monday, I want to see buyers hold this, right? With upside targets of end of day, and then 5714, and then all-time high and above. But we're going to be watching this level really closely, because if sellers take control of this level, and then we could there's a very high chance we could see a nice move back down to 566, and then a move back down to that 5666 level, right? And then obviously any selling pressure below previous all-time high is a super highly probable move back down, filling that massive gap, right? Because there's a lot of orders down here. Right now, once again, for large money to make their money, they need to accumulate those orders. We just don't know when, right? It's going to take a lot to push price down below that. Let's whip out futures. I know we got some futures traders in here, right? So let's check out the futures charts, and it's cool because it's straight bear, right? I do not trade futures, so this is going to be cool, even though I'm about to start. All right, so just like anything else, I'm going to whip out that daily time frame, right? Look, you can see all my old drawings here. Bam, bam. All right, hit. Okay, ice those. All right, cool. All right, so we have the daily time frame right here. I'm going to identify that previous all-time high, right? That same level we were talking about with SPX, same level we were talking about with QQQ, and the same level we were talking about with SPY, right? So now I'm going to hit that, and I'm going to label this pre-ATH. I'm going to make it yellow, right? I try to use colors that don't really. Let me take the volume off here. Okay, and what is this? Why is this? Oh, open interest. All right, move that. All right, cool. Now we got a chart. All right. So here's our daily time frame, right? So obviously, what I'm also going to do is identify my bullish target, right, which is all-time high. I'm going to switch this to bullish target. I'm going to make this green. Right. So, and once again, I'm just grabbing the top of daily candles, just grabbing the top, even though it's futures, right? It's doesn't matter. It's the same principles apply, right? And then on this one, I'm going to put it right here at end of day. And we could definitely put one there too at the open, right? So let's just duplicate that. Bam. So there's my upside targets. So now, using the previous, that 57.20 level, right? If sellers take control of that level, we're going to come down to this level right here. Bam. Now this is going to say bearish target. We make that red. And what's crazy is we actually have a gap here on futures, right? So just that's really significant, right? What's that? That 56.42 level in a bearish scenario? What? That listen, if sellers, if this turns out to be a false breakout above previous all-time high, we could definitely see a move back down to, look at this, bam, can't make it up. That's the beauty with market structure right there. All right, so now we're going to whip out that 1 hour. Wow, look at that 1 hour. 60 to 70 look juicy. Yeah, it does.